Let's go to school, y'all. I'm bringing y'all with me. We about to go get our education. Let's go. So we're gonna head to the Supercharger. We're gonna charge up. I don't need to, but I'm actually gonna charge this thing up to 100%, just because I know I have roughly a 140 mile drive down and back to school, and then tomorrow we have some places to be too. So I'm kind of curious to see how it does. It's not like I'm going to charge it to 100% and then park it, which from my research is what you shouldn't be doing. So on top of that, I got some goodies. I know y'all see this mount right here. I'm also going to get some POV footage for you guys. Here's my wife and my kids. Bye. See you later. But yeah, enough talking, man. Let's go. I didn't know that with Teslas, when you put multiple stops in the navigation, if you do need a supercharger at some point, I guess it reroutes you. But the whole purpose behind this was for me to come here, charge it up to 100%, and see how it goes with all the driving today and then tomorrow. I guess a range test, you could call it, but I'm not going to do it in one straight shot, if that makes sense. Which, to me, is a more practical of a test. But I wish Burt's Bees would sponsor me, bro. I wanted to touch on range anxiety, right? I think for a lot of people who are curious about whether to go purchase an EV or switch to EV, I have never owned an electric vehicle before. This is my very first EV. I have considered buying an EV before, but I always went back to, no, it's not necessary, blah, 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 the range, this, that, whatever. But that was also when I also lived in a place prior to that. It didn't have the supercharging network capabilities that the current city that I live in does. And I'm in California. I mean, there aren't many places in California where you're going to go without being able to find a supercharger. Let's be completely honest. Like, the network here is absolutely freaking phenomenal. It is insane. You're going to be able to get to everywhere and anywhere you need to go in certain states, especially states like California, because of how in-depth the supercharging network is. Like, it's perfect. It's completely perfect, and it's doable. With my gas cars, I always knew I could just stop and get fuel and whatnot. And to be very frank, it's no different with an EV car. An argument I had with a particular person, they're like, well, I don't have to spend 20 to 25 minutes at an EV charging station. And I was like, well, okay, that's fair. However, unless you actually have the money to shell out, Shell, like, go to gas stations like Shell and Chevron and the expensive ones, right? Are you really going to be in and out? Let's be completely honest, because I pump at places like Sam's Club, Walmart, Costco, places where regular middle class people pump at, because we're trying to save a couple bucks. And I can never get there, get my gas, and be gone. Like, it is impossible, bro. Like, shortest amount of time I've spent waiting is maybe about 20 minutes, which I can do that here. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm a busy guy. Like, I have stuff to do. So as long as I have my backpack and I have my iPad and stuff like that, I can always find something to do at that time. Like, it's a non-issue. But I think people just make it an issue. But they play off the concerns when they're really just preferences. Like, you're allowed to have preferences, bro. Go ahead. Like, don't nobody want you to get an EV if you don't want to. That's completely fine. But I'm telling you, if you actually are in the market for an EV, specifically a Tesla, you have nothing to worry about, especially because they may do with the standard range. And if I'm wrong about that information, please someone correct me in the comments. But as far as I know now, because it's not even an option on the site, you can only get a long range Model 3 in the rear-wheel drive configuration, all-wheel drive, and performance. I know the rear-wheel drive on a full 100% charge is 363 miles. Now, if you're buying an EV to use as a commuter like my wife and I did, that's perfectly fine. We came to the conclusion the other day that 60% is more than enough to have at the beginning of the day. That should get us through pretty much anything and everything that we need to do in a typical day. After 1 week of living with the 2025 Tesla Model 3, I can confidently say that range anxiety is absolutely unnecessary. Like, you don't need to have range anxiety. It's going to be fine, I promise you. I've been exclusively supercharging, and within the 1 week of us owning the Tesla, and I got it with 3 miles, and I currently, as of right now, at this charging station, have 276 miles. I've only spent about $17 on supercharging, which isn't horrible at all. But if range is your primary concern, do not be afraid. Do not worry. Please just go demo drive one. Just please go demo drive one. And then thank me later. Because, bro, this is phenomenal. Like, the tech in here alone. I'm a closet tech geek. And I'm telling you, I will geek out over this car any day of the freaking week. Like, there's just some things that Tesla does better than other cars, and it's undeniably fact. Like, there's no other reason why everyone is currently comparing this car, at least the performance version of this car, to the BMW M3. We're headed home. I'm at 63%. Got about an hour and 47 minutes to go, 102 miles. And it's saying that I'm gonna get home with about 39%. I'm curious to see if that number shoots up at all, but we shall see what happens.